Hi, this is Dr. Tom Rogers at Performance Medicine, coming to you with a weekly podcast of the Common Sense MD. Now, today, as a special guest, I have somebody with a lot of common sense. Everybody thinks you're a brainiac, but you really have a lot of common sense, too. This is Lucas Schmidt. He's our nutritionist, certified nutritionist, but also he's a certified trainer. So we're really up on our game here at Performance Medicine having him, and his role has really expanded because of several things, not just the in-body measurement machine that we have that we've talked about a lot, but also because I do longevity medicine, fitness, nutrition, hormones, it all fits together. But when you think about it, you need to be able to go into somebody's office like here and have them look at you, the way you walk, your posture, your asymmetries, your aches and pains, your muscle mass, and you kind of figure out, maybe even questioning, what position do you sleep in? You know, why is your posture like that? So there's a couple things I'll talk about in a minute with glutes and shoulder blades. But in any event, Lucas, it's great to have you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
The role that you play here is phenomenal. I don't think there's anybody else that does all the stuff we do. I mean, we even have a psychologist on our team, but Lucas has really upped the game here. You don't need a psychologist, but some people do.
Who knows?
We
Maybe eventually all of us at some point probably will.
But we try to cover all the bases with your fitness, nutrition, especially as you age. And, we really cater almost to baby boomers like me that want to stay healthy, fit, strong, lean, keep your cognitive functions going. And there's a lot of things we cover with that. But in any event, I thought it would be really helpful if Lucas could see these patients, assess them for where they are, and kind of monitor their progress, not only through what you eat, but really things like looking at your posture, having you sit in the floor and see if you can get out of the floor without using your arms, which to me is a really pretty good thing to be able to do. So there's several things that we use to measure strength and flexibility. One of them sitting right here.
Grip.
Tell me a little bit first about your practice. What your goal is for what you bring to performance medicine.
Sure. As far as exercise, it's kind of the newer. It started as food-related, nutrition, things like that. It's primarily just general health, but it depends on the person who comes in. Some people, we always talk. My appointments are fairly long. They'll run depending on what you're here for, but if it's a general consult, it can be an hour and a half to 2 hours. Sometimes depending on the issue. But most of the time, I want to lose weight. I just want to feel healthy. But with the exercise, like you said, I'm interested in the longevity, and there's a couple markers that a lot of, I think, the more forward-thinking doctors are looking for now, which would be grip strength as a primary marker for longevity. So we would assess the grip strength, which we'll probably do on ourselves here in a second with this device. And then from that, we can sort of say, well, what should we be doing to improve that? I think the primary reason, and you may know more, you probably do, in fact. My understanding is maybe the reason grip strength is being looked at as so important to longevity is because it's a culmination of a lot of things. It's an indicator of function. How well you can function at home, especially when you get older and older and older. If the grip is going, that means there's a lot of activities you can't do anymore because your grip, so it's sort of a bleed over effect into your whole life. If your grip doesn't work, then you don't realize it until it's gone how little you can actually do. So it's hard to exercise if your grip is weak.
Yeah, how are you going to lift a weight?
You can't lift a weight, and that's building muscles like the safest way to keep yourself. It's the way to keep yourself safe from injury when you're old. You break a hip, usually it's all downhill from there. Yep. And that's because the muscle's weak. So
I had a good conversation with Dr. Lucas, the orthopedic surgeon in Asheville, on that recently on one of the podcasts, how you break a hip, your chances of being incapacitated are just unbelievably high, especially if you're a man. Worse than a woman.
Oh, wow.
Way worse.
Is that a flexibility thing?
It's complicated, but more women have hip fractures. But when a man has a hip fracture, it's bad. Men just don't recover like women do. I think the women are just stronger overall. You know,
Yeah.
they're more resilient than men are.
Yeah. Right.
It's crazy, but
Generally, they live longer, right?
they live about 7 years longer
Wow.
in general. But anyway, so grip strength is probably the most accurate measurement of
Yeah.
overall strength.
Right.
It's very functional, like you just said. So we have a couple things that we do when you come in to see Lucas and you want an assessment about what you need to be doing to stay flexible and strong. The first thing is this grip meter. And this is a very high dollar grip meter that Lucas he's in charge of this thing. Tell me a little bit about this grip meter and why it's so important and how different it can be. Isn't the strongest person in the world as far as grip strength a 75-year-old man?
Yeah. He competes against 20-year-olds in grip particularly. Right now, that doesn't mean he's the world's strongman in like picking up 950 pounds or whatever the world, deadlifting, etc. But there are actual grip competitive strength games similar to any other sporting event. It's all centered around grip strength. And this gentleman, I believe he's Danish or he's Norwegian, one of those countries. He's a large man, but his grip strength has only gotten stronger as he's gotten older because he's maintained it and increased it. So that's really cool that a 75-year-old man, if you go on YouTube and you just type in world's strongest grip, you'll find a wonderful video of this gentleman, I cannot remember his name, hanging out with two pro bodybuilders who are very strong. And he works them under the bus when it comes to grip strength. He's picking up 200-pound bars with a wide grip like a claw. And he's like it's nothing and just dropping it. And they can't come close to competing with this guy. He's a very nice gentleman, but you can tell he's enjoying the fact that they can't compete with him. So I thought that was really cool that age can determine strength in many ways, but apparently not in grip if you do what you're supposed to do.
That is incredible. So we're going to measure people's grip strength, and
Yeah,
we're also going to have a hang time too. We have a chin-up bar, a freestanding chin-up bar that we're going to see how long you can just dead hang on that chin-up bar.
Doesn't mean you have to do pull-ups.
No, we don't want you doing a pull-up. Just hanging there, which is a
hang.
very accurate measurement of grip strength as well.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how hard that is.
It's after 10 seconds, it starts to burn. I mean, it depends on who you are, of course, but if you're not practiced in it, if it's not something you're used to, if you get on a dead hang, you think, oh, well, you're just hanging there. You'll say that for about 10 seconds, and then you go, oh, I'm getting heavy.
I think I went, first time I did it, I think I went a minute and a half. You went over 2 minutes, but it is really hard. Since that time, I've really started working on my grip strength with farmer's walks and just trying to hold, a dumbbell with both hands, and it's really helped me a lot. I think I'll see how my progress is based on this because that thing does not lie.
No, there's a small dial that whatever the maximum force you put. So it's not a matter of I squeeze and as long as I keep squeezing it holds up and then it drops when I let go. No, it bumps the dial and the dial freezes at your highest point. So it's a very accurate amount. Now, one trick I have learned that I try to caution people when they take this from doing is suddenly squeezing because you'll get a little extra force that you otherwise wouldn't have had. So I think if you want to really measure accurately, you might want to just
slowly squeeze it?
Well, not too slow because then you'll tire out before you can get max. It's a balance. You just want to just commit fairly quickly, but don't because I was able to get much higher number than I should have gotten by going real suddenly because you have explosive energy. But and if maybe we could take two measurements, an explosive grip and a regular grip. But
let's see how you do on this thing.
We'll just do a normal. I'm just going to squeeze. And you just squeeze, increase your pressure. Now the thing is, people will squeeze extra, thinking if I go longer, I'll go higher. Actually, you just get weaker the longer you hold it. So that one was at, it says the inner number is pounds of pressure, which we'll go by. I'm looking at 95 pounds of pressure for that particular squeeze. So I would then record that for the right hand, and then we do the left hand. Let's see what my left hand does. It's probably going to be lower. Maybe not. Maybe my left hand is fresh because I already did this grip thing earlier before we started. Okay. Come on. I'm competitive.
He put some effort into that.
I want a good score. Oh, it's the same, 95. So they're both at
You're
95 pounds of pressure
you're
right
very
now.
symmetrical.
So do you want to try it?
Sure.
So you want to try it?
My left hand I probably won't because I had
Sure.
Jill do a PRP in my thumb.
Oh, yeah.
Arthritis in this joint, which is actually the first place you'll get osteoarthritis. I think I've got it because I play guitar all the time.
Oh, it makes
I had
sense.
Jill do a PRP treatment for it, so I'm probably not going to mess that
Yeah,
up.
I wouldn't do that. It's not worth it.
With the right one, I'll definitely do it.
Dial to 0 and squeeze. What do you got?
I got, looks like 105.
That's great. 105.
Not bad. Usually beat me, but maybe.
Well, I'd take the victory. That's victory right there.
That's hilarious.
All right.
But yeah, come in, and we really want to see. We want to help you. We want to help you get fit, build more muscle, especially as you age. That's a great little simple test to do. And we'll just keep measuring it every time you come in here and see.
And if maybe you don't like the number you got, we'll talk about really easy ways to just gradually increase that number. It's
one thing
not the end of the world.
One thing I've started doing based on one of Dr. Osborne's books that he recommended to me. He recommended two. This is my neurosurgeon friend down in West Palm Beach, who's a fitness nut and runs a longevity clinic like I do. But the workout he does really helps your forearm strength.
Yeah, a lot of pull up, chin up, and
farmer carries, and
yeah.
you just walk around with weights for 2 minutes, heavy weights dangling by your side.
And you would think, oh, I'm just picking up dumbbells and walking. It's not. Again, after that, it's like a little longer than a dead hang, but when you hit the minute mark, you're ready to set those things down. I'm done. He goes, I know one of his, it says 200 yards maybe, but if you don't have a track, just time it and walk around. 2 minutes approximate, to go that distance anyway, because you're not going to be sprinting with dumbbells, right?
One thing I've learned with fitness as you get older is you don't need to necessarily join a gym. You can do it at your house, and you don't have to spend hours and hours doing this. You really can get by with a half hour a day. That's all I do, really, unless I'm riding my bike and doing some aerobics type stuff. But you really, like Dr. Lucas said the other day, walking is not enough as you age. Walking's great for your fitness, but it is plain and simple not enough. You need to be building muscle.
Yeah, you'll go into a deficit otherwise.
You definitely would. But so that's one aspect. But one thing that I really want you to be doing here at Performance Medicine is on your new mat that you just ordered, is putting people on the floor and have them get out of the floor, preferably without using any of their arms, or maybe just one.
Right.
There's some techniques that you can use, and there's some it's pretty telling, where you are in your journey towards dying, based on how you get out of a chair or how you get up off the floor.
Well, yeah, like you said earlier, we alluded to is the fall is a terrible fear for people as they get older, and you might be less afraid of that if I fall, I'll just get up. You'd be surprised. It sounds like such a mundane activity, but it's not mundane for an 85-year-old.
Yeah.
To just get up. That's very difficult.
A lot of it has to do with proprioception, the way your body, especially your feet, connect, and you can feel your balance. I mean, a lot of times we'll do balance tests on people. How long can you stand on one foot? Yeah. Then try the other foot. Mm-hmm. Maybe close your eyes.
You'd be surprised how much your hip will burn if you stand on one foot for any period of time. Up here, usually, if I'm doing that, I feel it up here in the glute medius, and it lights you up like a Christmas tree.
The glute medius is a notoriously weak muscle. Yeah. Even these huge guys in the gym have weak gluteus medius, and that's what leads to all the back problems.
I've heard if you see a lot of hip swish when people walk, now some people do it on purpose because they want to. It looks pretty, I guess, but a lot of the times that it can't help it is because their glute medius is weak.
That's really
your hips shouldn't be swinging like a pendulum.
That's really
you should just be tracking nice. So
nice you can watch a person walk and see.
If I'm looking for, I'm not like a CIA analyst is, something is wrong, but I can usually tell there's some telltale signs that there's either excess tightness or usually weakness in the hips and the glutes based on the gait that people use when they walk, especially like if toes are out, like plie, when your feet turn out.
Like a ballet.
Yeah, usually that's an indicator of something, and that can translate to knee trouble later on.
And it's you can't strengthen your glute medius by doing a lot of this exercise that we do. You have to really target
It's a
it.
specific muscle. Yeah, it takes some specific stimulation to
Kind of
make
like
it happen.
building your back. If you have back problems, you have to work on these muscles called multifida, and nobody's even heard of that. But that's exactly the muscles that hold your spine together.
Yeah.
But you need to work on that. It's funny because everybody has back pain, stiffness. There's two rules that I tell people that they need to think about. One is to activate your glutes. You know, most people get very
Squeeze
small,
the grape.
Yeah,
Pick
most
up the
people,
pencil.
Most people get very small glutes, and
Yeah.
you know, especially these older men, they have no butt.
Right.
And that should be your biggest muscle in your body.
Right.
And then besides activate the glutes, I say retract the scapula,
Yeah.
which is the back part of your shoulder blade. Because we all do stuff, we curl over, and it leads to shoulder problems and neck problems, all kinds of things. So if you can strengthen those muscles in your backside, you're going to be way better off. And
Yeah.
you know, you can certainly show people how to do that. It's not that hard.
No.
They just have to start thinking about it. So we've got a few new things we're doing here at Performance Medicine. We're going to measure your grip strength, your hang time. We're going to watch you get out of the floor. We really want you to stay healthy and not fall and not get weak and debilitated as you age. You know, it's not just what you eat or what you weigh. It's not just your hormones, which are very important.
Right.
As they decline, you decline. That's why we do hormone replacement. You need hormones. But we want to watch you get out of the floor. We want to look at you and say, hey, this is what you need to work on if you don't want to fall. If you do fall, you can fall in a way that you're not going to break something.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, Lucas Schmidt, thank you for coming. Thank you for working with us. And it opens up a whole new world for our clinics, really. So come see us at Performance Medicine. We'll see you next week.